Tonight we're going to make meatloaf. It's just a traditional meatloaf. We did experiment and make a few meatloaf cupcakes topped with mashed potato that looks like icing, a little chives spread on top. And we have a homemade glaze. We'll show you how to do that tonight. Now, I think there are more meatloaf recipes than any other recipe out there. I mean, everyone has their own way of making meatloaf. You can use chopped meat, you can use turkey, you can use a combination. They even have the meatloaf mix, you know, with the pork, chopped meat, and veal. I just want to do tonight just a very traditional meatloaf. It's my staple meatloaf, the one I make all the time. I use regular ground beef. I like the 80-20 mixture. I don't mind having a little extra fat. You could go with the leaner stuff, but you know, with the fat, a lot of it when you cook it's going to drain off, but there's good flavor in this. So, and it's very affordable, so 80-20 is a good mixture. We have fresh vegetables. We're going to have Italian parsley, carrot, celery, onion. I'm probably not going to use the whole onion. A few cloves of garlic. And then for breading, I have 2 soft rolls, or the potato rolls. You could use the Italian roll. You could use the Italian roll. You could use white bread if you have a few slices of white bread. You could use white bread if you have a few slices in your refrigerator or in your house. You could use that. It doesn't necessarily have to be the potato rolls. 1 egg. Even though I'm using the rolls, I still like to use a little breadcrumbs, and Panko is a really good one. I used to use the Progresso Italian, but this is really good. We're going to have some heavy cream, some Parmesan cheese, Grey Poupon mustard, then salt, pepper, and we're going to use a dash of cayenne. So that forms the meatloaf. That makes the meatloaf itself. And over here to the right, we're gonna make our own glaze. You could buy like a glaze in the store, some type of topping you would want. They have those ready-made marinades. But it's real simple to do it at home. We just have the regular tomato ketchup, paprika, brown sugar, and we're gonna have a hint of horseradish in it. We're gonna do the glaze first. And when that's done, then we'll put the meatloaf together. It's a real easy, very fast recipe. I'm gonna put in about 1.5 cups of ketchup.
And I just want you all to know that I was able to taste a Pete bagel. He made bagels today, so someone requested bagels, and that's coming. He made them, and they were delicious. So we do take requests, or I should say you take requests.
Yeah.
And what is that?
That's 1/2 cup of brown sugar.
Oh, wow.
Teaspoon of paprika. And 1/4 teaspoon of horseradish. Now, not everyone has a taste for horseradish. I like it to have just a hint of it in there. If you don't like that, you don't have to put that in. You could substitute like some garlic and onion powder instead. This together. See how simple this is?
Yeah,
you probably have all the ingredients in the cabinet already, and it makes a very nice marinade and glaze for the meatloaf. And what I do is I not only put this on top, I take a little and actually mix it in the meatloaf itself.
Okay. That sounds good. I have to clean the counter for you. After the bagels, I think the counter took a hit. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my.
Okay, now we're going to do the vegetables, but we're going to pre-cook them before we put them in the meatloaf. So I'm going to take the onion, and we could chop these up very fine, but since I'm going to put the carrot and celery in and I want to cut them very fine, I got out our food processor. If you have a food processor at home, it's just like the blender with this type of top, the cutting blade. If you have one of these at home, this is a perfect opportunity to use it. If you don't, then you would just mince it, and it takes a little bit longer. So you could cut these in big pieces, and you just put them in. Put in 2 cloves of garlic, the onion. I think I'm going to put just a little more onion in. I want to use about a medium onion, and this one was a large one. And we'll go ahead and turn it on, and this Max here, he's going to run.
What? He didn't run. He's right there. You go, doggy.
Now, before I put in the frying pan, I'm going to put a little olive oil there. Now, these I didn't cut up too much because I want them a little bit bigger than the celery and the carrots. So these are about chopped.
Oh, okay.
Take the carrots. We'll cut these a little finer, almost like a mince. You see how much smaller that is?
Yeah, it's a lot smaller.
Now, one thing about meatloaf is if you have kids and they don't like eating their vegetables, this is the perfect opportunity to trick them into eating vegetables. Because here we are, we're putting carrots and celery in, and once a meatloaf's made, they're not going to know.
Nope.
I've put zucchini and squash in before, and so if you have a challenge like that in your household, by all means.
Very good tip.
Yeah.
I feel like you've tricked me.
Yes, little do you know what you've eaten.
Yeah, I don't know. You could always poison me. If you want to kill me, it would be real easy because you make all my food.
Okay, while that's on the stove, I'm going to take the parsley and chop it up fine. Now we're going to take the chopped meat and put it in the bowl. This is 2 pounds of chopped meat, 1 pound packages. Okay, what I do is I make like a ring. You see that hole in the middle? Okay, we're going to take the bread, we're going to cut up the bread, break it up in little pieces. It's like a little bowl. Take our egg, 1 egg, and half a cup of cream. If you don't have heavy cream, you could easily use regular milk. Regular milk, 2% milk, whatever type of milk you have would work.
I can't wait to show my mother this one.
Why?
Well, I grew up eating her meatloaf once every 2 weeks. I think she'd like a new meatloaf recipe because I think she's still making the one I grew up on.
Okay, now we're going to let that soak.
Oh, okay.
Now come over to the stove. Get started.
Smell the carrots.
Yeah. And we want to soften those up. You don't want to brown these. So I'm going to put it on medium-high.
Medium-high, okay.
Well, it was on high until they started cooking. Add the Parmesan cheese. It's 1 cup.
Yummy.
Breadcrumbs, 1 cup. Now I'm going to put in 1/3 of the cup of the glaze mixture. A little salt. Pepper. The cayenne, the hot pepper, just a dash. And half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard.
Is that Grey Poupon?
It is.
Gotta have the Grey Poupon.
Actually 1 teaspoon. This was half a teaspoon.
Oh, okay, so you had to do 2.
Yeah. Okay, the veggies are nice and soft, so I'm just going to put a little salt and pepper and let them cool before we put them in the meatloaf mixture. Okay, the vegetable mixture is all cool down. So put that in. And parsley. Now we just mix. Right now we're at the part where we're going to actually form the meatloaf. And this is one of my favorite parts because this is where you could be as creative and inventive as you like. If you have young kids in the house, this is the perfect opportunity for them to come in and assist with this. Because you can make any kind of shapes. Like if you were doing it for kids, you could put it in a cake pie pan and actually bake it. Slice it when it comes out and put a scoop of mashed potatoes on it, and it looks like a piece of pie with ice cream. You know, it's fun. Also, what we're going to try tonight, you could put these in like a little cupcake dish. Cook them as cupcakes, and when they come out, you top them with mashed potatoes and they look like cupcakes. You know, kids really like stuff like that. If you have a significant other, heart shape is always good. If it's Halloween, this is kind of gross, but I've seen this before. You could make a severed hand.
Yeah.
You shape it like a hand and you put an onion in the forearm part that's severed and it looks like the bone, and the tips of the fingers are little pieces of onion, and once you bake it, you know, it looks pretty gross, but it's very fun. So again, this is the fun part of making the meatloaf. So we're just going to make the traditional loaf, but we're going to do a few cupcakes to show you what they look like as well. And on the pans, we're going to just put some Pam spray so the meatloaf doesn't stick.
Oh, so you put in a normal amount?
Just like a cupcake.
Oh. I'm going to need for you to make that severed hand next Halloween. That sounds good.
Yeah. And even like in November around Thanksgiving time, you could shape it like a little turkey.
Ah, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
A little turkey. Turkey meatloaf.
Yeah, that's right. And you could actually use ground turkey to make it. So be as creative as you want. And here, we'll make the traditional loaf. On some of the glaze. Spread that around. Put a little dab on here, just very little. That's been preheated to 350 degrees, and it's going to cook for approximately 1 hour.
Oh, okay. You ready for the meatloaf? We gotta wait an hour. Yeah, you should probably go back to sleep.
Okay, took it out of the oven. I took the cupcakes out a little before because these are going to cook faster because the metal's all around it. And the meatloaf, about halfway through, I put more of the glaze mixture on top. Now you notice how like all the grease came around there. It's really better to use like a broiler pan if you have that. I currently don't have one, and if you've ever seen it, it's like these two pieces of metal that sit on top of each other, and the top metal has the slots where the grease falls down and keeps the meat above and not sitting in it. But if you don't, this works well. Just be real careful with the grease. Since we sprayed it, it comes out pretty easy.
Cute. Those are cute.
The mashed potatoes. So we could just take some and spoon it on like icing.
How'd you whip up mashed potatoes and I didn't even know it? Damn, you're quick. You're quick. You're sneaky and quick.
You were in a makeup coma.
I was in a makeup coma. That's probably true.
Sprinkle some chives on.
Those look really cute. Mmm. The meat.
Cut just a little better. Jinx smells the meatloaf.
She smells the glaze. Jinx's favorite food, people, is barbecued ribs. It's the strangest thing. So she's thinking this glaze is like rib glaze.